Hi, everyone. This is a very interesting topic I want to discuss today. Basically, I first things first, I'm going to say right out of the gate, um, I don't plan on monetizing this video at all. So, I guess trigger warning for those who are not comfortable discussing topics of this kind of nature. So, I am not going to be sugarcoating anything I say in this video. I am not going to be hiding any words that I say in this video. I don't do that anyway. So just be aware going into this will not be monetized. And for those of you who just aren't comfortable having conversations of I don't really care, sexual nature. If you're not comfortable with having conversations about a sexual nature, then this is not the video for you. This is your trigger warning. We are going to go in depth about sexual stuff. And if you are not comfortable hearing about any of that stuff, then please click off the video now. Those of you who are here because the topic itself, keep one thing in mind. There will be 0 explicit images shown here. The material I will be discussing is quite explicit, but the actual material I'm discussing will only be that, discussed. So I actually wanted to throw my 2 cents on what this topic was, because I don't really see it talked about a lot. I don't really see it, like, it's talked about a little bit, but not a lot. I've only seen like maybe 1 or 2 videos on it. And I think it's just because it's a very interesting topic. I don't see it talked about. I see this topic kind of really brought up with trans women, not really a lot with trans men. So I want to actually discuss it. I want to discuss my personal experience, because I've had experiences with both cisgendered men and transgendered men. There is definitely differences. If you were to say there is no differences at all, you'd be, well, for lack of a better terms, blind. There definitely is differences, but nothing that would ruin the experience for me. So if you are a trans man and you happen to follow under any of these categories I'm going to mention, you are valid, you are loved, and you are more than deserving of love. I mainly want to talk about this subject because I want to, just kind of throw my 2 cents. It's not common. Plus, I see that other few times it's talked about in disbelief. So I guess I'll cut straight to the point. Yes, there are trans men who are comfortable bottoming. Nothing wrong with them. If you are a trans man and you identify as a heterosexual trans man and you prefer bottoming to your female partner, perfect. All power to you. Embrace that. If you are a trans man who is into men, exclusively attracted to men, but you still prefer to bottom, 100% fine. All power to you. If you are a trans man who prefers topping, in a heterosexual relationship, all power to you. All power to you. If you are a trans man who prefers topping in a homosexual relationship, that is all power to you. 100%. Do what you feel is best. Personally, when someone asks me my opinion on that sort of thing, my opinion is just literally, I don't care. I literally don't care. Do what you feel is right. It don't make me feel negative. It don't make me feel positive. If you're living your best life, you're enjoying your best life, you're doing what you want to do, and it makes you happy, then do what you want to do. Fuck what people say. Because you're going to get your naysayers. You're going to get the people who don't support you, who don't love you, who don't like you. You're going to get those people no matter where you go, especially being trans. So to the ones out there that are doing their thing, living their best life, and ignoring the hate, good for you. And the ones who might have a little bit more of a difficult time ignoring the hate, know that you are loved. Know that you are cherished. We accept you for who you are. Now, I do actually want to say this. This is just my experiences. Keep this in mind if your experiences with being topped or topping a trans man is different, then obviously your experience is going to be different. And I'm only speaking from my experiences. So my experiences are that while there are certainly differences, there are certainly challenges to overcome with that sort of thing, I don't have really any issues with it, to be honest. There's just like there are multiple ways to bottom, there are multiple ways to top. You don't necessarily require a you don't require a certain part in between your legs in order to top. Let's get that out the way right now. You do not require a penis to top. You don't require it. It's never been a requirement. You just don't require it. It is preferable in some instances, depending on the person you ask, but not everybody needs it. There are multiple ways to, be the one on top without requiring the need for toys, not the need for a penis. For example, toys are a good way to get around that. Some couples prefer just using toys. Some couples prefer just using toys. They don't even need to necessarily be toys that, go inside, so to speak. They could even be just simple stimulation toys. Simple. Remember, people always are under this impression, sex does not have to be rough. It don't have to be rough. It could be very soft. It could be very gentle. It could be very approachable. Some people prefer it rough. Some people prefer it gentle. And some people prefer it to be soft, and that is okay. The thing that is important to know is your partner comfortable with it. That is the biggest thing. As a trans person, myself, and this goes for any other trans person, disclose your status right out of the gate. If you are going to have plans, like if it's someone you just met, obviously no, you don't need to say anything. But if it is somebody that you're about to have sex with, that you're about to have relations with, you need to disclose that about them, about you. Because what happens is when you don't say it until the very last moment, and you disrobe and you see what that person has is not compatible with what you like, then it is a problem. It is a problem that needs to be, discussed, addressed, all that stuff. And this is another thing too. I I have seen this side occur, not as much online, but definitely a lot in person. Because again, I am around gay people 24/7. I'm around gay people who are transgender. I'm around gay people who are cisgender. I'm around people all of the time. I've seen cases where the reason someone won't, go with the person is because they're legitimately transphobic. And those ones should be called out. But I have also seen cases where there's somebody who has support for the trans community but just won't sleep with one, which is valid. That needs to be said. It is valid if they don't want to. The thing I don't like, and I don't see it discussed very often, and I only really see it discussed by channels that I don't typically agree with politically. I wish this was called out in a more proper way. So with this out of the way, obviously, yes, there are people in the community that are loving, respectful people in the community. 100%. But we need to also acknowledge that there are people in the community, just like every community. And when I say gay community, I am including gay trans men. So keep this in mind. But there are members in the community that do not take no for an answer. And I'm speaking specifically on the trans men right now. There are members that I have witnessed in person that do not take no for an answer and can come across very, for lack of a better term, assaulty. I have seen people get mad when they don't get their way, get mad when someone just isn't into them. I've seen cases like this, and this is wrong. This is wrong to, push this onto somebody after they've already said no, which again, we can pretend it doesn't happen, but it does. And it is something that also needs to be called out in the same way that how certain people view trans men's bodies should also be called out. It should also be, addressed. Like there's nothing here to really say. There's nothing else really to say here other than, just be respectful. If you find a partner that is comfortable with you having a vagina, good, go for it. Let them have it. Let them enjoy it. As long as you are happy, as long as the other person is happy, as long as both are willing to do it, then good. Go nuts. Be safe, but go nuts, And then there's the ones that, like I said, don't take no for an answer. The trans men that don't take no for an answer and will keep pressuring you into doing stuff. I'm not saying it doesn't happen the other way around. I've certainly seen cases of men who are obsessed with trans men and the idea of trans men and all that stuff. So I think one thing right out of the gate, first of all, that needs to go, not every trans man is masculine, number one. Not every trans man is feminine, number one. And not every trans man is comfortable keeping their genitals. Not every trans man wants to get a new set of genitals. Not every trans man wants to have top surgery. Not everyone wants to keep what they have. Every trans man is different, just like every trans woman is different. And it is the same for this. So my thoughts on what are on trans men in the bedroom, go for it. If it makes you happy, it makes you happy. There are multiple ways to do it safely. Toys are one way. I would say toys are probably the most mild way. Another way is obviously the trans men that have had bottom surgery can already do it that way. Power bottoming is a thing, and keep in mind, just because it has the word bottom in the title does not mean, that they're the one that's on bottom. I think obviously sex is different for everybody. It's different for everybody. Some people view it as a beautiful thing, and some people view it as just to have fun. So it's going to be a different experience for everybody that they go for. So I know I've been rambling. I know I've been going all over the place, and I haven't even gotten to the reason why my icon is what it is. Basically, I got fascinated by this topic. And the idea of trans men topping cis men is an interesting thing to talk about. It's not something that's often discussed. I've only really seen it from maybe one or two YouTube channels, and that's about it. My icon is basically following what that is. And it's interesting because you really don't see it discussed. Not a lot. And the few times it is discussed, people usually don't keep it in their brain. It's just kind of like, okay. So keep one thing in mind. Know if you are a gay man who supports transgender people but doesn't want to sleep with a trans man, you're perfectly valid. You're perfectly fine. You are not transphobic. If you are a straight man who does not want to sleep with a trans woman, but you support trans women, you are fine. You don't have to sleep with us to get that point across. So my entire thoughts on, trans men, like I've said in this whole video, live your life, be valid, be who you want to be, do what you need, do what you feel is right and authentic to you. If you get off to if you are a heterosexual trans man who gets off to topping their female partner, go for it. If you are a trans man who is homosexual and gets off to being topped by their cis partner, good. Enjoy it. And vice versa for every other way around. Enjoy it however you want to enjoy it. Just make sure your partner is comfortable with it and make sure there's no pressure involved. Make sure you get both sides to willingly agree to do it. That's all you have to do. It is simple. So to anyone out there who says trans men cannot top, you've clearly never met one. You've clearly never been with one. You've never seen one. You've never met one. You've never experienced one. I would say to those, wait until you experience one with one. Obviously, if you end up disliking the experience, you never want to do it again, perfectly fine. 100% fine. If you end up liking it, good. You have something else you enjoy. So with that being said, this is Kunimitsu 877 signing out, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.